O Show. This is the Big 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 O Show.
There's just one place to celebrate a happy new model year. Acura of Pembroke Pines. Drive away in a new Integra. Only $299 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
When presenting an award to an employee, athlete, executive, or fantasy GM, make sure you call Orvietto's Awards and More. For 35 years, these custom award specialists have been providing plaques, trophies, custom framing, while providing state-of-the-art laser and computerized engraving, UV printing, and glass crystal etching. They do all their engraving and printing in-house for quality control. Call Charles at 305-949-8098 or visit them at orviettosawards.com. Orvietto's Awards and More, where recognition is rewarding.
Set the rhythm of your smart home with Sloman Shield Blink, the new integrated smart home platform that automates your life just the way you want it. Sloman Shield Blink. Be the maestro of your own home.
There's just one place to celebrate a happy new model year. Acura of Pembroke Pines. Drive away in a new ADX. Only $299 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
After 40 years, the Big Cheese Miami is still producing great Italian food. They started in 1984. Since then, they've been winning awards while being voted the best inexpensive Italian restaurant in Miami. Visit them for great food, amazing service. Witness the decades of Cane's memories. The walls are like a Miami Hurricanes Hall of Fame. The Big Cheese delivers anything on its menu or party platter menu to your home, office, or even a park for a picnic. Located at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue, Miami. Call 305-662-6855. TheBigCheeseMiami.com, where they serve large portions at family prices.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
The Sultan's choice for excitement and a caravan of savings awaits at Toyota of Hollywood. Your wish for savings has been granted with discounts of up to $4,500. Take a magic carpet ride in a Toyota Corolla, not $24,000, $19,988. Step into our grand bazaar where you'll find epic savings at the #1 volume Toyota dealer, Toyota of Hollywood, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
It starts every morning before the sun comes up. Projects are laid out. Plans are made. Equipment is fueled and loaded with inventory to handle all service requests. Orders are given to an army of skilled landscape maintenance professionals, certified arbor trimmers, irrigation technicians, and licensed pest management experts who fan out to communities and businesses all over South Florida. Experienced, on time, and dependable. Our staff is fully trained, licensed, and insured. Contact us by phone, email, social media, or through our website to answer all your landscape questions. We are Cutter's Edge. Total Landscape Solutions.
When it comes to your smile, confidence is so important. At Moody S Dental, they provide the services to get your smile back. This family-run practice prides itself by offering the latest technology to give your family the best experience possible. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years with offices in Hialeah and Plantation. They accept most major dental insurances. They provide free new patient exams, 20% off select treatments. To qualify, please follow us on Instagram at moodys.dental. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years. To schedule an appointment in Hialeah, call 305-821-0231 and Plantation 954-692-6825. From Invisaligns, dental implants, same-day crowns, and the preventative care and preservation to get your smile back. Go to moodysdental.com to find out more and tell them Big O sent you.
Before you buy or lease a Honda, Volkswagen, Hyundai, or any other model, compare Subaru, rated #1 in safety at Subaru of Pembroke Pines. Buy with 0.9% financing, 0 down. Forester with symmetrical all-wheel drive, $259 a month. Crosstrek with symmetrical all-wheel drive, $239 a month. During the Subaru A Lot to Love event at Subaru of Pembroke Pines, South Florida's #1 volume Subaru retailer.
Hi, this is Jeff Welt from Welton Rayom. Dan and I have been in business together for over 22 years. We're not your typical lawyers. When Dan's not working in the office, he's flying his stunt plane. When I'm not in the office, I'm either getting tattooed, bowling, riding a motorcycle, or going to concerts. We might not be your typical attorneys, but we are aggressive attorneys, and we'll do whatever it takes to get you what you deserve. Consultations are always free. Call us anytime, 24/7.
Welton Rayom can help.
If you're looking to take your home or business to the next level, then RM Contractors can assist you. RM specializes in new residential turnkey, new commercial turnkey, home and office remodeling. Call them for free estimates. Serving all of South Florida, licensed and insured. Call Ray, 305-345-3649. You work hard to create the perfect atmosphere. You dream it, we'll build it. RM Contractors, 305-345-3649. Or Instagram at RMC Fisher Island.
There's just one place to celebrate a happy new model year. Acura of Pembroke Pines. Drive away in a new CDX. Only $459 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. The game is final. Tua and the boys are in the locker room. Let's go over what happened in this game in our Dolphins Postgame show with Big O. The post-game show is brought to you by Welton Rayom, Acura of Pembroke Pines, Hialeah Park Casino, Toyota of Hollywood, RM Contractors. The stats are final. The insiders are ready. The platform is mastered by the one and only Sean Stanley. Now, let's find out what the Big O thinks about this matchup as we start our Dolphins post-game show. Here's Big O.
You know, it's when you've done this for a long time, and you know, I'm not as pissed as a lot of you out there because I'm not a person that is shocked by this as it is. You know what I mean? And I look forward to talking to Chris Perkins since, you know, he was so very, you know, confident about going 2-0 against sorry teams. And we'll see now if the writers now want to say that they should fire McDaniel now. And it's the part that does piss me off about all of this going on a consistent effing basis. Okay. This guy's a shit coach. You see it all the time. McDaniel is just horrible, dude. When the run is working, he dumps the run. Darren Waller's working, and he doesn't target him in the second half. I don't understand this. And your team is constantly making mistakes and all kinds of, it's embarrassing, bro. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Mike McDaniel is a minor league coach. He has no business whatsoever being an NFL. He's not a fucking coordinator. He won't establish the run. When he brings in Ollie, it's so freaking obvious that you're going to run, that it puts him at a disadvantage. He doesn't understand about giving Achane a series and then coming with Ollie for a series. Keep the defense so you can. Ollie does catch passes. Like, mix it up. They mixed it up with Tua last week and helped him. Mix it up here. How is Darren Waller being used in the first half and then not being used in the second half? I don't understand any of this. It's just, this guy is not complacent with anything that's working. I've never heard of that in my life. And he avoids the run game like it's the plague. And he still wants to overuse the one guy. Which, God bless him, he's a hell of a player, but Jesus, man, you got to learn to get other people involved. You had 2 running backs for this game active. I mean, it's just, you know, the only good thing that came out of this, I gave you guys the 3-bet parlay. I gave you Darren Waller over 39.5 yards, an anytime touchdown from Darren Waller, and over 79.5 yards for Rico Dowdle. So you got that 3-play parlay. If you did, you hit it. I got some free Bitcoin myself. I was able to buy it even before the game ended, which was a beautiful thing. So that was nice. The 6-team one, I almost had it, dude. I had 4 of the 5 and the 1 o'clock. I only needed the Ricard White, but Julian Hill let me down by 3 yards. By 3 yards. And he only let me down because, again, we have an idiot coach that, you know, like, tight ends are important. Like, try to use them makes the life easier for the quarterback. I'm so tired of Mike McDaniel. I'm so tired of all of this. Okay? They weren't going anywhere. You know, I knew this was going to be a bad season anyway. I told you guys all off season there was going to be no winning season here. There was going to be no playoffs. Anybody that looked at that roster, I mean, dude, let me explain something to you. I've heard people, and when I say on radio, obviously there's only one goddamn station in South Florida for sports, right? But I've heard them either on radio or maybe even writing too, where you know, when you're so used to mediocre, you talk up shit.
people are talking up Jack Jones and Butler. Like, those are just Jags, dude. And look at them today. They prove what they are. They're just Jags. Maybe those silly-ass people will get in line and figure out there's no talent on this team. There's very little talent on this team. And it's super thin in certain areas, especially in the secondary. Outside of Minka, there's nothing. 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 And anything that's young is unproven, and you have no idea what it is. You got a bunch of young defensive tackles that are lost and are getting pushed around, and they're not ready to play. You got a left guard that the poor kid, his head is spinning, and he's not ready yet. And that's just kind of the way it goes. It's part of the growing pains. This is the problem with people that thought this team was going to be good, because you assume that a whole bunch of these rookies are just going to make a seamless transition, and no, they're not. And Savania will be fine, but it might be a year from now or two. He's a right guard that habitually has to learn everything on the left at the highest level. It's a learning curve for the kid. And then you've got the other defensive tackles, and defensive tackles, sometimes the light goes on quickly for some players, and sometimes it doesn't. And you just got to wait, and you just got to be patient. But the real crime here, more than anything, is people that talked up the Dolphins. That roster could not be talked up, especially with that coach. And that's what I told everybody. The only way a roster like this can sneak into the playoffs is if you have a special coach that can make things happen. And you don't have it with that dude. That's not the guy, bro. That guy does not command respect from the locker room, from the building, and in the league. So I don't know what to tell you. We'll find out if people start getting on the bandwagon and finally, put on a pair of balls, whoever's writing and following this team and saying, let's go, Mike McDaniel's got to go. I mean, and by the way, anybody that says Mike McDaniel's got to go now, you are way late. Okay? You're finally using logic. Let's just make that shit clear. Okay? All right? Media, fans, I don't care. You're reacting now that you got to fire McDaniel? Dude, you're like the Jerome Powell of the Fed. You're like too late, pal. Okay? You're too damn late. Just so you'll know, anybody that feels like you got to fire McDaniel now, you're way late. Way late. Should have been fired last year. They didn't fire him. No, they extended him. Wow. Baffling. That's about the most baffling shit that there is out there. You extend that bum. Where does that make any sense? I don't get it. And let me tell you something. If you don't fire McDaniel now, Stephen Ross doesn't care about winning. I don't care what anybody tells me anymore. I'm tired of it now. I know he spends money, but no, dude. No, you just can't. When some of us can see mediocre coming and you can't see it, like you extend Joe Philbin, you extend this guy, like what are you doing? What are you doing? It's an effing clown show, and you better fire his ass. Okay? In fact, you should do what the Panthers did. He shouldn't even be on the plane on the way home. Make his ass hitchhike or something. Seriously. Call a self-driving car and just here, you get in there and you go ahead, goofball. Get in there and get lost. I have no idea why Mike McDaniel is still employed. This is an owner with zero balls and really zero desires of really winning, because who would tolerate that if you were a real owner? Let's think about that. Who tolerates Mike McDaniel if you're a real owner? I mean, this is king-size stupidity that we're watching with this moron. I'm so sick and tired of Mike McDaniel. He is a disgrace, is what he is. An absolute disgrace to the coach. I don't even know how he could have convinced anybody in an interview that this guy was the guy. Just disgusting. Disgusting. By the way, you can make a donation to the show as we rock hard here and work hard for you guys, Sean Stanley and myself. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. And you can make a Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink, or even Solana donation. You can send in your questions, comments, insults, your suggestions on what Stephen Ross should do, who you want fired. I know the owner's not going to sell, but I'm sure you want the general manager, the head coach. You want to trade the quarterback. You know, I know the drill, so I know what's coming. But you know what's also coming? We always got to figure out who brings the edge. And I got to say, today, there was one man that brought the Cutter's Edge Pro difference maker of the game.
Who brought the edge? Who changed the game? Who is our Cutter's Edge Pro difference maker? When you want to give your home or business the edge, call Cutter's Edge Pro in South Florida for all your landscape solutions. Here's our Cutter'sEdgePro.com difference maker.
William Quigley, by the way, if we had 53 William Quigleys on the team, we'd be undefeated again and again and again and again. We'd be kicking everybody's ass. We'd be road graders. Lawn, get it? Huh? So, you know, that's a tough sumbitch there that gets it done. He started with like a lawnmower. Now he's got like 100 trucks. Dade, Broward, Palm Beach counties, they've got the edge. You know who brought the edge today? Darren effing Waller. I got to give Waller a lot of credit. You know me. I didn't expect much from Waller because I'm sitting back and, you know, at the beginning, he proved me right by missing the entire offseason, 3 games, already got injured, all that. But to his credit, at least the 2 games that he has played, it's been magical. Thanks to him, I won a parlay. So I appreciate it. And today, Darren Waller, I'm looking at it. 5 for 78, a touchdown, 15.6 yards per catch. He was a difference maker. He brought an edge that you don't have at that position that you've never had with Tua. Tua needs a tight end. Every quarterback in the world needs a tight end or 2. For me, in my world, my quarterback would have 2 tight ends that I can constantly use. Play them at the same time or alternate or whatever, but I'd be attacking you with tight ends constantly if I was running a team. Okay? And Darren Waller is, to his credit, the dude has actually balled. Now, he could have actually done better than this. He easily could have had 100 yards. If we had an intelligent coach, I would have said, you know, this is a tight game. There was a guy that helped me take the 17-0 lead, and now I'm not using him. That's like calling Cutter's Edge Pro. And then they do a phenomenal job, and then you just let it die there. And then you're like, well, wait a minute, I could call him for maintenance also. You know, I could do all kinds of stuff. Synthetic turf. I can do all kinds of stuff. Lighting, irrigation, everything. That's why you got to call them. Reach out to them, 954-472-0622. The great William Quigley. Darren Waller, bringing the edge that you get from Cutter's Edge Pro.
The Cutter's Edge Pro difference maker is brought to you by Cutter'sEdgePro.com, servicing HOAs, condominiums, townhomes, commercial properties, corporate parks, malls throughout South Florida. Cutter'sEdgePro.com, providing South Floridians the edge every day of the year.
All right. Let's go to Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo, and you can make a Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink, or Solana donation. Peter German, beating an old horse, but McDaniel's play calling sucks. He kills momentum with short screens and forcing in the run when we had my momentum with Waddle and Waller. We should have easily won this game. Okay, there was a couple of things there. Yes, I agree with you, dude. I mean, he like I told you, he's like I am in the kitchen. Like my daughter is awesome in the kitchen and I suck. You could give me the same ingredients you give my daughter, and then she comes up with a delicious meal, looks great. Also, she dresses it up and everything. You know, it's all that. And me, I may kill you. And that's kind of who he is. He's me in the kitchen. Anthony Lizzie, happy belated Big O. Disgusting coaching performance. Also, know you are a bad team playing another bad team when you get stuck with these announcers. I had to mute the TV. The best part is watching them at the beginning trying to talk up the game and the matchup. And it's like, yo, dude, I'm a Dolphins fan, and I'll admit, this is Dolphins Carolina. Nobody wants to see this shit. Okay, the only losers that are watching this is us Dolphin fans and Panther fans because it's our teams. We're stuck with them. What are we going to do? You know what I mean? It's like when you have a kid, you're stuck with it. You know, good or bad, you're stuck with the kid. You know what I'm saying? Well, good or bad, we're stuck with him. Let's see. Christian DiMartino, thank you for the love on the Venmo, sir. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. McD is pure shit. You're up 17, can't establish a run, 13 attempts for 14 yards. I'm done. Still can't manage the clock at the end. I know, right? Didn't even use the timeout at the end. I mean, it's just over and over and over and over. It's just, I'm so sick of this clown. And I don't know how an owner tolerates this. That's why for me, you know, this fool, it's like for me, it's like if Biden owned the team. You know, Biden's like half dead of being president. Well, we have like an owner that's half dead. Because how do you watch that and just tolerate it? How? How do you watch that? In Detroit, I would watch Mama Ford lose her mind and start firing people. I don't get this. How do you tolerate Mike McDaniel? Like, anybody with a low football IQ, just a low football IQ, looks at Mike McDaniel and says, what the F? Joe Cracchiola, thank you, sir, for the love on the Venmo. McDaniel must have compromising pictures of Stephen Ross because why else would he not be fired after that debacle? Embarrassing, but not surprising. Love the show. Thank you, Joe. And again, you and I are on the same page. How does an owner look at this and tolerate it? Tolerate it. Bro, I would lose my effing mind, and I would go to that locker room, and I would fire him in front of all those players, and then I would look at all those players and say, get your shit straight, or we're going to start shipping people the hell out of here. I'm sick and tired of this. Weaver, take over. You're on double secret probation. Let's go. That's what I would have done. And McDaniel, get the hell out of here. You're not going on the plane. Adam Pinkster. McDaniel outcoached by fellow frat boy Dave Canales. And all Canales did was hand off to his backup running back. You are so right, O. Both Miami's D and O lines haven't been shit in 45 years. How can Ross keep ignoring this? Losing to Carolina is like losing to the Sisters of Mercy. Hey, they were a pretty good band back in the 80s to early 90s. Dominion, you know, come on, bro. Give me a little goth love there for Sisters of Mercy. I went on the beaten path there. All right, what do you got there, Sean? I saw that you were there getting in the mix. You got some news for us? Did they fire him?
No, it looks like he made it. He's at the podium talking. But Joe Shad did say that Minka Fitzpatrick in the locker room refused to talk to reporters, said he would talk to them during the week. Tua was at the podium, said that the team, the Panthers shut down the middle of the field. And then that's why a lot of the passing gets to Wall. I didn't get the question. They just kind of put that there.
So we run screens and we'll throw to the fullback, but we won't throw more to Waller?
Yeah. No, we got to do the 10-yard handoff instead of just handing the ball off to the running back.
I'm so sick of this, man. Okay. Thank you, sir. Just disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Rise Taylor on Venmo. Thank you, sir, for the love. Appreciate the donation. And we always encourage Cash App or Venmo because we get 100% of the donation. We will read the super chats and we appreciate them, but stinking YouTube keeps 30. So that's why we encourage Cash App and Venmo. Rise says, that was one of the worst Dolphin defeats I've ever experienced, considering the amount of control we had, 17-0. To punt on 4th and 18 with our defense was, in my opinion, a shambolic decision. I recently had a son 2 weeks ago. Hey, congratulations. I'm making him a Dolphins fan. I'm calling child services on you, Rise. Yeah. We're not supposed to do that to our kids. We should not. I mean, luckily my daughter doesn't really get into football. She's a Panthers fan. So it's kind of worked out for her. So she doesn't really care about football. Only hockey. Really, only hockey. It's weird. And she loves when they're fighting. But anyway, so I'm glad that I didn't bury her. But I don't know if we should make our kids Dolphin fans. That's some cruel and unusual punishment, bro. Yeah. So somebody call child services there on Rice Taylor. Ramo. Oh, what do you got? What do you got, Sean?
Mike McDaniel.
They fired him.
No. On the run D, though, he says it can't continue to go on like this, and it's already gone on too long.
Whoa, how's that again?
On the run D, talking about the run defense, I'm guessing.
Said that?
Mike McDaniel said that.
Oh. Did he put his little foot down?
It doesn't say here, but it looks like the capris are pulled all the way down today.
Oh, wow. So he's had enough of it. He drew the line here. Then you step over. Well, no, it's over here. No, it's over here. No, it's over here.
He put his deck shoes down.
Okay, the little boy's stomping. I've had enough. I just can't. Ray, thank you for the love, my brother. You're amazing, man. Thank you. Says, when are we going to stop suffering with this damn coach? Ray, you're the owner of a very successful business, right? R&M Contractors, right? So if you had a Mike McDaniel as one of your managers, you would have fired his ass already. I know this. You know what I'm saying? I associate with you. I associate with people like William Quigley. He would not have Mike McDaniel around very long. Larry Schlossberg out there in Acura. He's going to sell a lot of Acuras to stay number one. Mike McDaniel's not going to do a lot of selling. He's going to do a lot of ums and ahs and and the customer's going to go, oh, and go walk away and not going to buy anything. So I don't know. I don't know how to answer it, Ray. I don't know how a real owner tolerates this man. That's why I have to say that Stephen Ross is really not committed to winning, no matter what anybody tells you or whatever crap they spew out there. This proves that you're not committed to winning. You're keeping that around. Yeah. Andrew Watson, thank you for the love on the super chat, sir. Here, on the Venmo. Tua was a tip pass by Jalen Waddle from a game-choking interception again. Would have been the third time. Yeah, but woulda, coulda, shoulda. Dude, that happens every week. Quarterbacks throw almost interceptions every week. You just watch that, and they get lucky. That happens all the time. You pass, like Jimmy Johnson says. When you pass, 3 things happen, and 2 of them are bad. That's why the bigger crime, Andrew, is focus, running game, offensive line, using the tight ends. So that way you don't put the situation in that part of it. And so when he hits the bomb, it's all right with you. But if he misses one, he's human. So he's faulty or something. It wasn't like he was spraying the ball all over the place. So he hit a couple of really nice passes. He hit Darren Waller. He hit Waddle. He hit guys today. So he missed one. That happens every week. That's not a big deal. You lose more because you're a bad coach more than anything else is why your team fails. Not because of Tua. But that's fine. Let's see what else. This team needs to fire everyone tonight. Greer, McDonald, Tua. Take that Happy Meal and throw it in the dumpster. Yeah. I doubt that they'll fire the personnel. And Tua will stay till next year. McDaniel's the only one, as I've told you guys, the only change they can make is McDaniel. That's the only change they can make. Fernando Lamas, thank you, sir, for the love on Venmo. Because of your influence over time, I knew they would choke. It's the talent, the lack of talent that you see there, and then you have a terrible coach. You would need a really great coach to lift this team, like a Shula in his prime to lift this team. That's it. Andrew is back. Thank you, Mr. Watson. Would love to see a post-game toxic fart stinker of a game for the rest of the season to highlight the shit player of the game. Do it right before the cutter's edge. Difference maker. Thank you, my brother. Appreciate you. On Cash App, let's see what we got here. Remember, as always, Cash App or Venmo. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Leonard Minuto. Lenny the Locksmith. Thank you, sir. And, of course, Lenny the Locksmith. Dade, Broward, Palm Beach counties. Thank you, sir. And he says, Coach has to go. And I agree with you. Thank you, my brother. I appreciate your support as always, and I agree. He definitely has to go, but the sad part is we have an owner that just doesn't pull the trigger, man. It's the weirdest thing. We have an owner that will not pull the trigger. I don't know why. I don't know why. I will tell you this. I do have an MVP of the game. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And, normally when you need some work on your teeth, you got to go to visit my friends, the Murias family, Eric Murias and his dad and his brother, the Murias family at Murias Dental. So let's go and give the award for the Murias Dental MVP of the night.
Who's last night's MVP? There's only one MVP for your family's dental care.
Murias Dental. Get your smile back at Murias Dental. Visit them on Instagram at murias.dental.
Here's our Murias Dental MVP of the night.
One person that I can give the Murias Dental MVP of the night, and I'm going to give it to Rico Dowdle. Yeah, it ain't going to be anybody on Miami's team. We're going to go Rico Dowdle, the running back, who, by the way, was part of our 3-play parlay that we won today that we gave you guys, because you've been asking me for parlays the last couple of weeks, and I've done them just for the hell of it because you asked me, right? So this week I had one prepared, and we hit on it. We had Darren Waller over 39.5 yards, check. We had an anytime touchdown from Darren Waller, check. And we took Rico Dowdle over 79.5 yards. And that was a plus 1,500 right there. And Rico Dowdle went slightly over the 79.5 yards. He had 206. 23 rushes, 206 yards, 9 yards a carry, 1 touchdown. He also had 3 receptions for 28 yards. Okay, averaging another 9 yards a clip per catch. Rico was the difference in the game with Chuba, whatever it is, out. They needed somebody to step in. He ran for 1,000 yards last year with the Cowboys. And I knew that Miami's defense wasn't very good, so I kind of figured he would have a good game. I thought Miami would still overcome it and win the damn game, but I figured they would give up some yards on the ground. Boy, did they give up some yards. They gave up 239 of them, 206 to the Murias Dental MVP of the game, Rico, getting it done. And by the way, if you need dental service in Dade and in Broward, reach out to our friends in Dade, 305-821-0231, in Broward, 954-692-6825, Invisaligns, dental implants, preventive care, cosmetic surgeries. Visit the Murias family and follow them on Instagram at murias.dental. Rico Dowdle, the Murias Dental MVP of the night.
The MVP of the night is brought to you by Moody Dental.
From Invisaligns, dental implants, same-day crowns, and the preventative care and preservation to get your smile back, they accept most major dental insurances. They provide free new patient exams. To schedule an appointment in Dade, call 305-821-0231. In Broward, 954-692-6825. Follow them on Instagram at moodyass.dental, providing MVP smiles every day of the year.
Right, man. Just another rough one for us. We are waiting, of course, Chris Perkins and the great David Feronis joining us on the program. So we will get their reaction from the locker room. We thank, of course, all your cooling and plumbing. You can reach out to them from Homestead all the way to Vero Beach and even in Naples. Over 350,000 customers, all your cooling and plumbing, number one AC and plumbing service in Florida. They've been at it for 52 years. Make sure you tell them that Big O sent you. I promise you they will take care of you. Good people there at All Year Cooling, Tommy Smith and family. Excellent, excellent stuff. All right, let's get to our super chats here. Sean Stanley, because I know several people have sent in comments. No doubt one step closer to the final result. Would have liked to see a win, but silver lining, put a punt on fourth is just the latest example of poor decisions. Yeah, I mean, it's just a terrible coach, man. And thank you, no doubt. Appreciate you. Next up, it is Mateo. What happened to Waller in the second half? McDaniel. When you have a stupid coach, they make stupid decisions. When the run game is working, the clown goes away from it. When the tight end is dominating, the clown goes away from it. Like this, both of them were active. Even Julian Hill had 3 catches. Like you had the tight end, and why didn't you continue to use the tight end? Find ways to get him. You're not that good of a play designer then. You're not that good of a coach if you can't get things involved, man. Next up. What is it? His is the remnant. Big O, what is wrong with Chop and Sealer this year? Jordan Brooks is by far our best defensive player. We might have the worst left guard in the league. The right guard, he's a right guard, Savanaya. And now he is moved over to the left, so he has to learn everything that he habitually knows to the right, to the left at the highest level. So it's going to take him a little while. You know what I mean? And Chop hasn't played as much. He had the knee injury a couple of weeks ago, then got a little less in reps. I know he made a mistake today, overall, but I think Chop is fine. I'm not worried about Chop. And the rookies, I'm not worried about. See, here's the problem, dude. You probably thought they were going to be good. I didn't. I knew this team would suck. And why did I know this team would suck? They have no secondary, and you got a whole bunch of rookies all over the place. And, for those of you that thought that Grant, Phillips, and Biggers were just going to come in and dominate, you're foolish. And if you thought the Savanaya was just going to make a seamless transition, you're foolish. And I hear people talking up Jack Jones and Rasul Butler, and I'm like, bro, do you guys know what you're talking about? You're talking about Jack Jones and Rasul Butler. Why? Because they made a play or two. We have a problem in Dolphin land is that we have been beaten down with such mediocre football. The standards are so low. So low. You got people on local radio trying to talk up Jack Jones and Rasul Butler. And like when I hear that, it's embarrassing. You know what's really embarrassing? How so many in the media aren't willing to really be honest. Like I told you, I do not believe that every beat writer on the Miami Dolphins doesn't that they're all in. No, McDaniel shouldn't be fired. I think some of them are not telling the truth, but they're afraid of the backlash and the negativity and all that kind of stuff because, we're in a world where people don't want to hear the truth. They just want to hear their echo chamber. And so this is a problem that we have. Too many of you thought this team was going to be good. Why would you? You have a terrible head coach, and this is the worst roster he's had in the 4 years he's been here. How would you think he's going to be good? And the guy's failed with better talent. It's baffling to me. Next up. Bag on head. Why punt if you don't make it and hold them to a field goal? It's still one score. I hate McDummy regardless. This team sucks. Fire somebody. I agree. And the guy you should fire is McDaniel. I can't argue with you, bro. I'd love to tell you, yeah, no, you're wrong, but no. Go ahead. Next up. Bag on head. Just because we're pissed doesn't mean we're surprised, Big O. But just because I get what I expected doesn't mean I shouldn't be pissed. I'm just not as pissed. That's all. Because I kind of expected this to be a bad year and I kind of expected this to be a disaster. And that's why I sent Chris Perkins 2 weeks ago. So you sure about, because remember when go look at the interview 3 weeks ago when he said, oh, these next 2 weeks, they got a shot at, they can easily win these two. And I'm looking at him like, what are you watching, bro? What are you watching? This is a terrible team. And here you go. They lost. I had no confidence that they easily were going to win these two games. Should they have won today? Sure. But look who they're coached by. Next up. Joe says, it's sad to say that Tom Alabadati's better prepared his defense and fire Mike. He's hopeless. When you're right, you're right. I mean, it sucks, but it's true. And you are hopeless with Mike. Next up. Man of 1,005 holds. A tale of two halves. The Panthers kept running, and Miami ran into a wall. I'm sick of this. McDaniel needs to go. Another scammer dressed as a coach. Exactly. Because he's certainly not a head coach or an offensive coordinator. That's how bad that guy is. He's an assistant coach at best, not a coordinator. Next up. Bag on head. Ross cares about racetracks and tennis courts and money and whatever real estate and putting a hospital and just continuing to make money all over the damn place. Yes, he is printing. And now the Canes are the best football team in the building now. Yeah. I mean, some of you Dolphin fans, shouldn't you be switching over your season tickets to the Canes instead? I'm just saying. Now, don't you get more bang for your buck if you go to a Canes game than a Dolphins game? I'm just saying. Just throwing it out there. Next up. AZ says another episode of what would you rather be? What would you rather be? What would you rather be? A Miami Dolphins fan or Mike McDaniel and Stephen Ross shared butt bitches cream? Well, I'm stuck as a Miami Dolphins fan, so I don't have to worry about the butt bitches cream. Next up. Thank you, sir. Is this Jay Gooden? The Canes are the only Miami football team we have. Let's be real. I just said that. You and I are thinking right along the same lines. I mean, if I'm a Dolphins fan that I have season tickets, I'm seriously thinking next year of switching over to the Canes. Frees up my Sunday. I can watch it on Red Zone, hang out with the family. I don't have to go through the hassle. And at least the Canes have got something going in a much better fashion than the Dolphins. Because the Dolphins are light years away from doing anything like the Canes are right now. Next up. Let's see. It's Tim Andrew, Fire McDaniel. Who is the interim? Not Weaver. It'll be Weaver. It'll be Weaver. Yeah, it'll be Weaver. Weaver doesn't have talent, dude, on that defense. Oh, he's got pass rushers and a couple good linebackers, but they're not great cover linebackers, overall. I don't know, dude. I don't blame Weaver so much because I think Weaver's defense will be better in the second half of the season, like I kind of expect. And again, I don't expect great, leaps and bounds and stuff like that. All right. Hialeah Racetrack. That's right. And casino. Get on out there and enjoy the casino, not the racetrack. Actually, you can enjoy racing all across the country at the Champions Simulcast Center. You can bet on all the racetracks out there and sports betting. You could have bet on the parlay like I did on the Hialeah app right now and would have won, which is pretty good. We won our 3-play parlay, not the 6 one. That was a little harder to win, you know what I'm saying? But we got close. Not closest. Doesn't count, but still, visit our friends at Hialeah, Loose Slots, No Smoking Casino. You will love it. And tell them that Big O sent you. Great people there at Hialeah Park. All right. Next up, Sean, what do we got? Jonathan Levy, Big O. Ross has to sell. It starts and ends with him, but why would he sell? Yeah, there's no shot, Jonathan. There's no shot that he'll sell, my brother. None whatsoever. Why? Yeah, the family is making way too much money. Next up, sir. It is Corso. At this point, put ChatGPT as coach. Time to trade anyone and everyone. Well, speaking of that, Bradley Chubb is really boosting his trade value. He had another sack and a fumble recovery today. So Chubb is definitely working his way to getting traded at the deadline. It was going to be him and Tyreek. So at least with Chubb, you don't have any of the character issues. So you can trade him, and you might even get a 3rd-round pick for him maybe as a pass rusher because he's a good dude, and you're getting a super impact player if you're a playoff team. So that could happen. Next up, Sean. What do we got? It is Miami Kid J. Big O, do you remember Tua's last winning drive? No. I don't really. No. I mean, there's nothing memorable about the Dolphins the last 25 years, dude. What am I going to remember? That Tua had a great year throwing the ball, or that Ricky Williams had a great year running the ball, or that Jay Ajayi had a great year running the ball, or that Jason Taylor had, several good years of playing as a defensive end? Who gives a shit, dude? Who gives a shit about all of that? Seriously. That's the problem here. We're too worried about individual accomplishments when you can't build a team. You know what I mean? And your quarterback isn't going to have any fourth quarter comebacks if you don't have a defense that can stop people, if you don't have a coach that knows how to call a game, if you don't have an offensive line that can block, if you don't have a dedicated running game, if you go away from your tight end that helped you take a 17-0 lead. How does any of that make any sense? But hey, man, I get it, bro. All the Tua haters, you guys are about the most obvious people I can see. You can't even hide your Tua hate. And I'll snuff it out every single time, dude. Every single time. Next up. It's like a broken record. True Fin fan, 6 receptions, 110 yards, 1 touchdown, 18.3 yards per catch. Waddle is a number 1. Let's go. It's a really bad team, but great game for him today. Got to keep it up. You know what I mean? It's like the Waller thing. 2 good games, but he missed 3. Let's see how he continues. Does he stay healthy? Can he stay on the field? Can he be consistent? All those things. So nice start for Waddle against a really bad team. Let's see how the season goes on. Next up. Devin Jordan, Big O. The team is a joke. I'm so embarrassed as a Dolphins fan to support this shit show. We all are. We all are. It's 45 years of constant failure by the team, unfortunately. Next up, my brother. It is Manny J. Snow. You punt the ball away in your last possession, and you were going to stop them. McDaniel has no clue. These are things that cannot be explained, and that's because it's McDaniel. Next up, sir. It is 80 dances, run the ball, can't take it anymore. Paul in Connecticut. I know, Paul. I know. I'm with you, my brother. I feel your pain. And thank you for the amazing support. And we really appreciate it. What's next, Sean? Did we catch up yet? Nope. Sam Cavasin. They solo me this clone as an offensive. Oh, they sold me this clone as an offensive guru from the West Coast. The problem is that we are away from that type of football culture. Well, even the West Coast offense has a run base to it. It still comes off the run, and he does not. His offense is the run plays off the pass, which is asinine. He wants to reinvent the wheel. Were you going to say something, Sean? Okay, what's next? That's it? We caught up? Oh, no, we got Josh Hart. Big O, Tua sucks, Greer sucks, and McDaniel sucks. Get rid of all of them. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Ozzie Fisher finally came up with a name, Fort McDaniel offense. It's the shell game offense. If running game is working, he does something different. If the tight end is working, do something different. It's like a shell game. He's a fraud. Yeah, I'm sitting there, and that's how I started the show. I'm like, so this is the guy that when the running game is dominating, like against Baltimore or like the Bills game or the Green Bay game, and you just like, yeah, no, we don't need it. And so all of a sudden Waller is like dominating in the first half. They can't cover him. Then all of a sudden they could cover him for a whole half. It's just the weirdest thing, dude. Next up, Daniel Barros, Big O, I have to disagree. We shouldn't fire McDaniel, yet I want that top 3 pick with him. We are guaranteed of it. I mean, you can't fault the man's thinking. Seriously. I mean, are you still like, we have a chance here in this season? I'm just wondering because, like, I knew you didn't have a chance in the offseason. But, you know, some of you at 0-1 or 0-2, you know, you're still holding out hope. And now 1-4. Have you finally, like, you know, opened your eyes? I'm just wondering. Have you opened your eyes yet? So if you have opened your eyes, his thinking is not the worst. But the problem is dealing with that guy every day. You know what it is? I have to watch his press conferences. Thank God I don't have to go to them. I feel bad for the writers that have to go to them. All right, next up. Man of 1,005 holds. Asking Ross to sell the team won't make sense because he'll just give it to one of his New York or real estate buddies to ruin it. He's a Jets guy anyway. Well, that's kind of what you end up getting, right? You know? Thank you, man of 1,005 holds. Appreciate you, my brother. Let's go to the next one, Stephen Rowell. The frustrating part is this team will end up with 6 to 8 wins and stay #stuck in the middle. Stephen, you know the bit. You know the Steeler Wheelers bit. Oh, man. Kind of sucks. All right. Sean, do me a favor. I want to turn on the AC. Give me like a 15, a 30-second real quick bump here so I can turn on the AC, sir.
After 40 years, the Big Cheese Miami is still producing great Italian food. They started in 1984. Since then, they've been winning awards while being voted the best inexpensive Italian restaurant in Miami. Visit them for great food, amazing service. Witness the decades of Cane's memories. The walls are like a Miami Hurricanes Hall of Fame. The Big Cheese delivers anything on its menu or party platter menu to your home, office, or even a park for a picnic. Located at 80 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue, Miami. Call 305-662-6855. TheBigCheeseMiami.com, where they serve large portions at family prices.
All right. Don't forget to visit our friends there at Toyota of Hollywood. Great people out there. Herbie Lopez, he's in pain right now too, Herbie Lopez. Why? Because he's a Dolphins fan like we are. He's a big local. He's a Canes fan. Heat, Marlins, Panthers, all that stuff. And so I know he's hurting right now. But visit them at Toyota of Hollywood, the official #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. You can get the Camry LE sedan right now for $299 and 0 down. They've got over 2,000 vehicles in stock, over 1,200 new vehicles. And please tell them that Big O sent you. They are at 1841 North State Road 7 between Hollywood and Sheridan, right on 441. They're open till midnight every night. Toyota of Hollywood. Bag on Head. Thank you for the love on Venmo. He says, what did I do to be born in Miami and adopt this team? God, if you're listening, I tried to be honest and live a clean life. I'm charitable. Maybe I was a bad person in a previous life. If I was, I'm sorry. Hang in there, Bag on Head. We all have the same fate, bro. We all have the same problem. We're Dolphin fans. We love the team. They don't love us back. They don't give us any love. Peter German also on Venmo. McDaniel comes from the same coaching tree as Shannon and McVay. Seems to me they were branches and McDaniel was the acorn that fell off on his head. Yeah, basically. Yeah, I gave an analogy on the show of McDaniel falling off the Shanahan tree. It's there on the show. David Redford. Thank you, sir, for the love on Cash App. He says, thoughts on Chainlink. I freaking love Chainlink. I am all over Chainlink. I've had Chainlink for years. I had it all the way down. I've had it since it was at $5. So obviously I'm way in the green right now. I think it's going to go well over $100 to $200. I think Chainlink is going to be an absolute monster. Not only will it be an oracle, but it also is going to be part of the banking system and many other things that they're doing with AI and what's it called? Just trust me, Chainlink, and by the way, their partnerships now, pretty much everybody's got to use them on the blockchain. So they're that, like, Pith is number 2, and they're so far down, it's not even close. So yes, I am a monster Chainlink guy. No, I am not a financial advisor. David, thank you, sir, for the love on Cash App. We appreciate that immensely. Thank you. Devin Jordan, thank you for the love on Cash App. He says, why punt the ball instead of going? I know. I mean, it's not like your defense was going to stop anybody. You had to go for it there. The game was over. Devin, again, thank God we have the Miami Hurricanes. Hell yeah. I'm with you there. All right. The man that guaranteed us 2 wins over these last 2 weeks. He said, don't be concerned. Don't worry. We got 2 games here. Very winnable. They'll get it done. So we talk to the one and only Chris Perkins, the man that is Sportstradamus himself, in our EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins postgame report.
Time to go to the locker room, Miami Dolphins fans. Let's find out what's percolating with the one and only Chris Perkins in our EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins postgame report.
All right, Percolator. You told me I was going to be 2-3 right now. I feel a little better about the football team. I'm not feeling so good. I'm not feeling so good, man.
Yeah, the Dolphins choked today, didn't they? They choked. You know, when I said the 2-3, that was just that was optimism. That was optimism. That was when Tyreek was healthy also. You know what? And I predicted on my podcast Tuesday that they were going to lose this game. And then the more I thought about it, I went with Dolphins 21-20. And then I thought, you know what? I'm going to change that, but I didn't. I stuck with Dolphins 21-20. But wow, this was as ugly as it gets. I mean, wow. I mean, you allow the run game to just plow you down. Offensively, you had nothing. It continues the road woes. This is even bad for the Mike McDaniel era because these are the type of teams and the type of situations that they win. They're now 10-19 on the road under Mike McDaniel. Mike McDaniel is now a 500 coach, 29-29. Yeah, this is as bad as we've seen from Mike McDaniel. That when I wrote in 2023 he should be on the hot seat, or 2023 that he should be on the hot seat if he lost that Kansas City playoff game. I didn't suspect that the seat was going to be like this. I didn't foresee this.
This was ugly. I mean, the feds couldn't get RICO charges on Sean. Well, guess what? Carolina got RICO charges right now on Miami, baby, because Rico Dowdle just tore them up for 200 yards. By the way, he was part of my parlay. I had Rico Dowdle in my parlay. I had Darren Waller over 49.5 yards, Darren Waller anytime touchdown, and Rico Dowdle over 79.5 yards, baby. I think nice. I think he slightly went over that. Slightly. A little bit. Yeah, and that was that how the run game just ran them over was absolutely ugly. Now, the things I got to ask you, like somebody asked right before you were coming on, why didn't you go for it at the end? Why are you punting off when your defense isn't going to stop anybody? And then the other thing is Darren Waller helped give you a 17-0 lead. How is it that he disappears in the entire second half, Perk? It's like when the run game works, he stops using the run game. Like this is habitual with this man.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a one-dimensional offense, right? It was Tyreek, and Tyreek is gone, and so you've got no answers. Defensively, that front seven remains the biggest disappointment as a unit on the team, right? I mean, they're not stopping the run. They're not applying pressure on the quarterback. They're not forcing turnovers. I know Chubb got that turnover today after Bryce Young inexplicably dropped the ball. But the front seven that's the biggest disappointment and the biggest mystery on this team. And why you don't punt, I don't know, because you weren't going to stop anybody. Even for Mike McDaniel, the coaching today was a shocker. It was really, really a shocker. I'm not really surprised by a lot of what we saw offensively because, again, you know what I've said about this offense. It's about two things, Tyreek Hill and the threat of Tyreek Hill. And you had some success today with Waller, but they shut that down and you've got no other answers. You've got no run game. Tua to Waddle, that was productive. But, with this offense and with this team, it's about what are you going to do in situational football? And what are you going to, we saw the third downs that choked the life out of the Dolphins in the second half on third down. They couldn't provide enough offense to win this game. I figured even with Tyreek, this offense had problems scoring 3 touchdowns in a game against good opponents. But it usually did that against bad teams. And Carolina is a bad team, and you still struggled to get your 3 touchdowns in the game. So this is maybe Mike McDaniel's worst loss. This was just bad. And really for me, it's like now we know that Mike McDaniel won't be back next season. It's just a matter of how long does Steve Ross allow him to twist in the breeze.
So let me ask you something, because I've been wanting to fire this guy since last year's Indianapolis game. You didn't want to fire him through the 0-3 start. When do you guys on the beat start writing that he should be gone? Because I'm really marveled that not one of the beat writers has said, yeah, this is not going to work anymore. They should move on and at least put somebody else in place for now, because you're not going anywhere with this guy. You know what I mean? So I'd rather at least put put the defensive coordinator in there, and then leave Slowick run the defense and let Darrell Bevel run the offense. He comes from a run base type of system. Usually when it was in Minnesota or Seattle, his offenses always were dedicated to the run. So maybe you can see a little bit something different here. Why keep McDaniel around? I don't understand what makes this productive to keep that guy around.
I don't know. This is a Steve Ross decision. And, look, I had said, but when Tua got the extension, I was against the extension because if this thing didn't work with Tua, you want to be able to just sweep them all out, right? Greer, McDaniel, and Tua. Get them all out. You don't want to strap a new GM with McDaniel or Tua. You don't want to strap a new coach with Greer and Tua. You got to get the broom, not the tweezers. And that's what I've been writing, is that you've got to make a clean sweep. When they made that sweep, that's up to Steve Ross, and with me, the only reason that I said to keep McDaniel around is because you erroneously gave Tua that extension. Tua hadn't proven that he could win big games. Tua hadn't proven that he could stay healthy, but McDaniel is the guy who got the most out of Tua. And if you were going to keep Tua, it made sense to keep McDaniel, because I'm not sure that it's fair to give Tua to a new coach. And McDaniel was going to request that Chris Greer stayed. So with me, it's been an all or nothing thing, that you just can't give a new coach Tua and say, this is your quarterback. You have to do the clean sweep. And hopefully that's what Mike McDaniel does. But to me, it all starts with giving Tua the extension, because if Tua didn't have that extension, I'd have gotten out the broom after last season.
Okay, but that's already done. So you're here at this point. Why not just put Weaver in place and see if something changes?
Well, that's up to Steve Ross. That's what I'm writing today, is that, McDaniel, this is up to Steve Ross now, that we know he's not going to be back for 2026, right? I mean, we know that. Like, if he could have done something at the end of this season to reach Tua or rally this offense or bring along the youngsters, maybe, but he didn't, and so that's where we are right now, that it's just a matter of how long do you allow Mike McDaniel to twist in the breeze. And I'll tell you this also, I mean, the Weaver bandwagon, my goodness. I mean, this guy is doing a worse job than Mike McDaniel right now. Like, I'm not sure that, I think maybe John Embry, the tight ends coach, might be the better choice now, but man, it's a tough decision.
Here's the difference between me and a lot of you guys out there. I didn't expect this defense to be shit, because all they have is a pass rush. They have too many young D tackles.
Well, the front seven.
They have no secondary.
Right.
They have no secondary, and they have too many young defensive tackles next to Sealer. And if you watch the film, dude, they're completely doubling Sealer. They're doing everything to put the defensive tackles in positions to make the plays, and they can't, because they're not ready yet at this point. And defensive tackles sometimes take a while. So I kind of expected this. Plus, that secondary, there is no secondary, dude. Outside of Minka, there's nobody there, man. So it's just like, to me, I never really expected. And I still think the defense will play better, but it'll be in the second half when Weaver has time to kind of figure it out. Just like last year. They started like shit. He had no pass rush. And he figured it out by the end of the year that they were playing at least half decent defense. And I think he'll do the same thing with the patchwork, but it takes a while to get this going. And by the time he gets it going, your season's over anyways. See, that's where I kind of differ from a lot of people. I didn't expect shit from this season, dude. I saw that roster, and that roster was too thin. Plus, that's a terrible coach. You needed a real special coach to lift this roster to a playoff spot, and that's not the guy to do it. That's just not the guy.
Yeah, but we've known that since December of 2022, though, that Mike has a one-dimensional offense, right? And he didn't get, I hate to go back into this, but when I wrote that Brian Flores got more out of his talent than Mike McDaniel, I got pounded, right? I got pounded by the fans, and it was because everybody liked Mike so much. But Mike wasted an opportunity here. This is the best talent this organization had in more than 20 years, and it's a terrible showing. I've written that this has been perhaps the most disappointing era of Dolphins football. And you could throw the Parcells era up there. I'm not talking about results. I'm talking about expectations versus results.
You have a much better quarterback than in the Parcells era.
Correct. That's correct. And this, you couldn't do anything with this offense because it was so one-dimensional that once you get past Tyreek, there's nothing that can beat you. And that's the first thing that I fault Mike McDaniel for was, you couldn't develop this offense, but I fault the organization because nobody in that building made him make a change. And that's where you have organizational failure because let's face it, against the good teams, the Dolphins were easy to defend. You shut down Tyreek. And again, you know the numbers, Big O, 11-0 and 23-24 when Tyreek had over 100, 7-17 when he didn't. You averaged 35 points a game when he had over 100. You averaged 18 points a game when he didn't. But going beyond that, the defense, I thought the front seven, you knew the secondary wasn't going to be anything. I thought the front seven was going to be something, and I didn't count on all three of. Look, they made it a two-person draft, right? You're not counting on 5th, 6th, and 7th rounders to do anything. No, I don't know. I didn't like that they traded out of the 3rd and 4th rounds, but you made it a Kenneth Grant, Jonas Savaiinaya draft, and so that's what you were left with. And I had written that. Anthony Weaver, he got his unit got neglected in the offseason, right? Offensively, you got Bobby Slowick, the senior pass game coordinator. You got 2 quarterbacks. You got 2 guards. You got your big receiver. You got your big running back. You drafted another running back. The offense got everything it wanted this offseason. Defensively, you just basically got the 1st round pick, and that's it. And so, I understand that Weaver is trying to make chicken salad, but that doesn't excuse the way the front seven has played. Not the entire defense, the front seven, where you do have Sealer and Chubb and Phillips and Shop and Judon and Jordan Brooks and Terrell Dodson and Willie Gay, who inexplicably can't get into games. The front seven should be doing a lot better, and they're not.
Yeah, no, with their defensive tackles, they lack a little punch there next to Sealer. That's the part that's been a hole in that front seven. Yep. They are getting sacks. Actually, the pass rushers are getting sacks. And to that, by the way, I say Chubb has done a really nice job because I've been talking for about 6 months now that Tyreek and Chubb will be traded in the deadline. Well, Tyreek, forget it now that he got injured, but Chubb is definitely boosting that trade value, my brother, because they're going nowhere. And if you're the Dolphins, you already started stockpiling picks for the future. I would imagine that Chubb is going to be the guy that's going to be moved in the trade deadline.
Boy, maybe. I just don't see much from Chubb. I mean, none of his sacks have been impactful sacks. I mean, he's kind of had a couple of guys run into him. Chubb has been okay. He's been better than Jalen Phillips, but I don't think that anybody on that front seven has been impactful. None of them. Not Benito Jones, not Shop, not Chubb, not Jordan Brooks and Terrell Dodson are getting their tackles like 5 and 6 yards beyond the line of scrimmage. The front seven has been a huge, huge disappointment for me. That's where you had so much of your veteran talent.
I think Chubb at least has kind of been good for them overall and good for his trade value, because I think you'll be able to move something like that during the trade deadline to try to end up getting a pick. All right, so you don't believe that there's going to be a change made when they get back home?
I don't know. I don't know what Steve Ross is thinking now. He put out the statement before that, or he put out word that he was going to be patient, but I don't know how you get the players to buy in now. And that's the thing that I think we're going to start seeing. And I know post-game Mike McDaniel he didn't see any fracturing on the sideline. These dudes are not going to look at him in the same way. Before it was just kind of, look, these players are always going to like Mike McDaniel. They're not going to have any faith in his words anymore because you're 1-7 and you shouldn't be 1-7. I mean, you could argue that you should have beaten the New England Patriots. They're not going to end up being a good team this year. You could definitely argue you should have beaten Carolina. They're not going to end up being a good team this year. You had to hang on to beat the Jets. They're not going to end up being a good team this year. And so players can see this. They're always going to like Mike. And to a certain extent, they're always going to respect Mike. But I think when the players look around that locker room and they say, in the last 18 months, the guys that we have seen leave this team for one reason or another, right? Christian Wilkins, Rob Hunt, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Ramsey, Calais Campbell, Teron Armstead, and they're going to go, we couldn't even win a playoff game, and now we're going to believe that this guy is going to lead us somewhere? Again, they will like Mike, but they're going to look around and he's going to get a vote of no confidence in their mind, and that's what you're going to have to fight for these next 12 games. I don't know how long you can keep that fight going if you're Steve Ross.
Minka didn't want to talk to you guys. Was there any other disgruntled type of individuals in the locker room?
Oh, let me make it clear. I'm at home. I didn't make this trip. Dave Hyde made the trip. David Feronis and Dave Hyde made the trip. I'm sorry for not making that clear. But, Minka, I'm sure Minka looks around, and I would guess he's still hurt and puzzled for the trade from Pittsburgh, wondering why Pittsburgh would want to trade him. And then he comes back to this situation that he didn't like before. He's got to dislike it even more now. So, I think with Minka, it might be a case where if you don't have something nice to say, don't say anything at all. And that becomes kind of your policy here. But it's from our standpoint, from a working media standpoint, Mike McDaniel has always had a good locker room. These have been a bunch of really, really good guys that I truly enjoy going in that locker room. But at the same time, as I've always written, they're not tough enough. There's not enough dogs. There are a bunch of guys that are in the Chris Greer, Mike McDaniel mold. And that doesn't win in the NFL. As I've said, it's a bunch of guys who you would trust to babysit your kids, and that's not going to get you to the Super Bowl. Nothing against nice guys, but that collection is not going to get you to the Super Bowl. There's no edge in that locker room. There's no edge on that roster. There's not that sense of paranoia where if I mess up, I'm going to lose my starting position and or my roster spot. Everybody is just such a nice, friendly environment in that locker room, which, again, it's a great working locker room for us. But when you're trying to win a Super Bowl, that's not going to work.
I've never really felt the good locker rooms in football are nice, friendly locker rooms.
Correct. And that's
football's not about being nice and friendly, by the way.
No.
Has to be kind of an edge. I mean, if you covered Alonzo Mourning, he wasn't the nicest dude on game day. Sorry. It just kind of, you're like, wow, he's a jerk. No, dude, he's not a jerk. He's just like really intense. It's just kind of.
You need to have an edge. This team, I was there for the 2000 and 2001 Dolphins. I was there for the 2005 Heat when Shaq came, the 2006 Heat that won the title, the 2007 Heat, which put on probably the worst title defense I've ever seen in my lifetime because they were just chilling, and then the Big Three Heat, and then you come to this Dolphins locker room, and it's different. It is different. I did 3 years of Texas Rangers, 94, 95, 96, and they made the playoffs for the first time in franchise history in 96. 94 and 95, a lot of those teams were out of it, 10, 12 games out in August and September but they still had more of an edge than this locker room for the Dolphins. There was a professionalism. There was just, with guys like Mickey Tettleton and Will Clark and Julio Franco, like some hardened vets, that there was an attitude that you don't get with this Dolphins locker room. That, again, very nice guys in this Dolphins locker room, but not enough dogs, not nearly enough dogs. And I've written that for 3 years.
All right, so Chris, and of course, you can follow Chris Perkins on Twitter at Chris Perk, and make sure you subscribe to the South Florida Sun Sentinel. So it seems to me like you're writing, moving on from here, that the season is over, that playoffs are probably no longer in the cards for Dolphins. And the question is, what is Stephen Ross going to do with the future of the Miami Dolphins? I kind of take it that that's the direction you're going in.
Yeah, that now we know that, after Steve Ross before said, I'm going to be patient, how much more patient can you be? It makes no sense. And now, Tyreek is out, and you've got this ugly loss hanging over you. You're 1-4. You got Justin Herbert coming into town. You still haven't hit the meat of the schedule. You're losing games on the road that you should have won. How much longer are you going to let this go, and what are you going to do? That's the direction that I'm going to go.
All right. Follow him on Twitter at Chris Perk. Perk, as always, I appreciate you, my brother. Thank you for taking some time, and we will catch up next week.
Yeah, hopefully it's hopefully it's a little happier next week, right? I don't know that it will be, but hopefully it is, Big O.
Who knows, my brother? After this, I don't know if we're going to see happy times for the rest of this year. That's for damn sure. But hey, we'll be here either way. All right, Perk. Appreciate you, my brother. Thank you. You got it. EJD Construction. We love talking about Eric. He's been a proud sponsor of our program for many years now, different radio stations and on this platform. And if you live in Dade and Broward County, homes only, not condos, they can help you out. Quality work, affordability. They use shell construction, so they keep the cost down low. Reach out to him. This is the owner's cell number, so he can take care of you. 305-433-4843. They are fully insured, liability and workers' comp, man. Reach out to my guys at EJD Construction. Eric has been at this for over 20 years. They've got a AAA rating from the Better Business Bureau. They are absolute monsters, and their work is second to none. You can go to ejdconstruction.com and check it out for yourself. They've also got a Instagram page at EJD Construction. 305-433-4843.
You've been listening to the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins post-game report with the Sun Sentinel's Chris Perkins. For additions, home remodeling, and custom work, call Eric at 305-433-4843. EJDconstruction.com is the custom home builder and contractor you can trust. 305-433-4843.
All right. I'll take these off too. Feronis gets back here. Appreciate you all out there. Let me get here. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. David Redford. My under is 8.5 total wins is a lock. Oh, yes. Yeah, David, if you bet that. I didn't bet it, but everybody that mentioned it to me, I told them, yeah, take it, bro. Take it. They're not going to. I was being generous, and I said 7-10. Okay? 7-10. I was being generous. I was being nice. All right, let's go to the super chats. Cy Love All says at this point, I just have to root for a top 3 draft pick. Hopefully makes us attractive for a decent, okay coach. Let's hope so. Let's hope so, my brother. It's what we're all hoping for, Cy. Thank you for the love on the super chat. Kurt, the Bay Finn fan. Kurt, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you. Says Puppet GM Greer needs to go. Tua cannot depend on take the team on his shoulders and win a game. He has regressed big time ever since the Fins were 8-3 in 2022 and got exposed by San Francisco. There you go. Get rid of Tua. Pro Player 77, and thank you, Kurt. Pro Player, thank you, sir, for the love on the super chat. McD at Presser. I'm not saying I'm a bad coach, but I did once accidentally drop a play that had all 5 players setting screens for each other. Thank you, Pro Player. Appreciate it. Mattel Dulio. I've said it before. McDummy is a glorified ball boy. He basically coaches like one. Vivian Martin. Tua got that touchdown at the end to pull ahead in the defense like the team scored. So, nothing in this game was not on our quarterback. Complete. Stop your dumbass. But that's how short-sighted people think. They just blame it on the quarterback. When, the defense can't defend, the head coach doesn't call plays for the tight end. That was the difference maker in the first half. It's the weirdest thing in the world, bro. You can't win with a coach like this, but that's fine. Listen, nothing's going to change. The people are going to want Tua gone. They're going to want Chris Greer gone. They're going to want Mike McDaniel gone. They're going to want the owner to sell. That never changes at all. At all. Biggie Strong. Right here, baby. Let's go. There you go. Get your Biggie Strong bracelets. Reach out to the Sports Babe and Lou. There's all the info on the billboard. If you're listening on the audio, you can go to the video and check it out there and get your Biggie Strong bracelets. All right? And support Biggie, man. He's going through a very, very tough battle. And we're all helping him out with the medical expenses and praying for him and supporting him. And, let's support his family, which I'm sure they need the help. And let's get him through this because we need to keep around one of the best human beings on the planet. All right? So do your thing and help out Biggie, please. James Tallman says, I said it in 2020. I'm saying it now. Drafting Tua was a huge mistake. And now you see why the Dolphins fans, Herbert should have been the pick. Yeah, and he's won so much. Damn. I mean, that Herbert has won so many amazing games, so many playoff games. Yeah, no, I mean, he's a real winner. He's won so much. Yeah. So when he actually wins something significant, call me back. Check out with us. Come on in. When he starts winning playoff games and, going to the AFC Championship game or winning a Super Bowl or something, reach out to me. Then we can say it was a mistake. But meanwhile, I've only seen a guy that chokes in every big moment that he's in. So, I've seen a guy that is way bigger and stronger and faster than Tua, and he folds like a cheap tent. So I've seen it over and over and over and over again. I don't know, but I watch it. But it's all right. I know he's got phenomenal talent. I get it, bro. So far, all I see is an athletic Jeff George until proven otherwise. When he starts winning something, then we got something. Then we can say whatever. I still would have taken Tristan Wirfs over Tua and Herbert. But that's me. That's different. And he's on a trek for the Hall of Fame, the way he's played the first 5 years, as dominant as he's been. He's one of the 3 best at his position. So let's see where Jonathan Jensen, if we keep Tua, we need an O-line. Well, you've needed an O-line since you were with Marino. You didn't have an O-line that could run the ball. You couldn't even have an O-line that could protect him the way he needed. He just made up for it because he got rid of the ball real fast, like Tua. So they haven't had a line in 45 years, dude. They've had a couple of good linemen, but they haven't had a really good line or a dominant line. That has not happened. They've had better defensive lines in the last 45 years than they've had offensive lines. That's kind of been the kicker for the Dolphins. The Stoyanovich kick says, can I get a big high five for my man Riley Patterson? He has been good. Got to give him credit. He has been good. Toxic Fart, thank you for the love on the super chat. Another 1-15, 1-16 season. Bring back Greg Camarillo. This coach in my 50s, and like me, the Dolphins' best days are behind me. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. You and me, our best days are behind us. So are the Dolphins. There's no doubt about it. All right, let's find out if his best days are done or does he have better days ahead of him. And David Feronis in our Welt and Rayom Miami Dolphins postgame report.
All rise, football fans, as the Welt and Rayom Miami Dolphins report with David Feronis is in session.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They are committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. Here's Miami Dolphins insider David Feronis.
There he is, the man, the myth, the legend, David Feronis. All right, so we're willing to do it. And now, the Dolphins will change.
If it was all up to me, yes, you have to. I don't know if owner Stephen Ross is going to see it that way. Well, yeah, I think at this point,
no, but you're the only beat writer that has said this, right? I don't think that I haven't read from any other beat writer that says they should have fired him. Now, maybe after this game they'll do that, but
I think after this game, you're going to see more of it. I think you needed to see that there was some kind of turnaround in the works against this part of the schedule. It wasn't just, you see, because the Jets win, that just bought you some time to get you through that one. But you couldn't just turn around and lose to a Carolina Panthers team, much less leading 17-0, and that things are not getting corrected, like this run defense. This should not have been that effective of a ground game to just demolish the Dolphins defense up front. That comes down to a few things. They're not making adjustments. They're not physical enough up front. They have a defensive line that has a bunch of rookies on it. I mean, one of them was a healthy and active, but Kenneth Grant still hasn't developed. He made a play or two, but Jordan Phillips, same way, he's counted on to do a lot. Zach Sealer, a lot of attention is going his way, and he hasn't been as impactful because of it. Benito Jones not standing much up front. So a lot of this is on this defensive line, and so that's both coaching it up and then also the roster construction for it to get to this point. So 1-4 for a team that had some level of aspirations. I think a lot of us realistically weren't looking at this team and maybe looking at it as like a team that's a fringe playoff team, a team that's going to contend for a playoff spot, maybe going down to week 17 and 18. But for it to already feel like it's just so over at this point, and to blow a 17-0 lead against the Carolina Panthers, that's 3 possessions. That's abhorrent.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. So let me ask you something. What did McDaniel say, and did you buy it on why Waller was not used or targeted in the second half, which makes 0 sense. The reason why you led 17-0, it's because he was making such an impact, because he was affecting the way the game was being played. How is it that Waller was such a big part in the first half and then all of a sudden disappears?
Yeah, no, I think Carolina made some good adjustments in game. A lot of people on the Dolphins offensive side spoke to that, but no counter adjustments the other way. So that's the thing. You have to be ready for that.
The follow-up was coming. You knew the follow-up was coming on that. Okay. Nice job.
Yeah, of course. I mean, naturally, because this is the NFL. You're not going to just continue to have success doing the same things. These people are paid lots of money to figure out problems. Now, unless if you're the Carolina Panthers, you could just continue running the football the same way, and the Dolphins stand no chance to stop it. But yeah, I mean, opposing teams in the NFL are going to make adjustments, so you have to be out in front of it as much as possible. And 6 of the last 7 drives come up empty. Finishing punts after you scored on the first 3. It was just a total turning point. Complacency, I think, what was the word? Guys feeling like they accomplished something. Bradley Chubb spoke to the defense, kind of feeling happy about and content about forcing 2 turnovers and then kind of stop playing after that. So those are huge issues, and that comes down to one, preparedness, but more so the attitude of the team. That's all it takes for you to not really continue fighting the same way. It's just you feel like you got it and you stop playing, and then once the other team gets momentum, you have no resistance against that snowballing effect coming downhill.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. When you look at where do they go from here? You're 1-4. Like, this season is over. You're not going to the playoffs. So what is the motivation? Because I don't know if this is a coach that can bring these people from the abyss. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just wondering, how are you looking at where's this season going?
No, I mean, I don't see it going anywhere. Obviously, everyone has to show some resolve. As long as Mike McDaniel has this job, he has to continue to try to find solutions. But yeah, I mean, at 1-4, then no, yeah, I think we can be honest speaking here. We don't see this season going anywhere. Obviously, everyone inside the organization has to put some kind of a face on it and keep striving forward. But obviously, looking at it objectively, it's not looking good for anyone involved.
No, I'm with you there. All right, so I have to put it this way. If you're not firing him and you're not making any changes, I got to look at Stephen Ross. No matter how much money you spend on this team, you also make way more money off the team and off all the other things that you have on that property. I have a hard time believing and saying you're committed to winning if you're keeping that man around, to be quite honest, because he's not about winning. And he has failed already with roster after roster in the last couple of years. Failing
Yeah, I think from Stephen Ross's perspective, and all the reports have shown this, that he's got a lot more that goes into it than just simply the football winning aspect of it. I think he's got the extension that he gave him ahead of the 2024 season still lingering, so he doesn't want to back off of it, which it's not so recent at this point, but it's already just one season and 5 games since then. So I think he'd be hard pressed to make the move off of that. So I think from Ross's perspective, he'll keep it running as long as possible this season. As long as 1-4, it's looking grim, but there's still paths to get to 10-7 record or something. Not that I'm not saying this team's going to do it, but until the team is actually like way out of it, I think as the owner, you would still operate with, hey, I've committed to these guys. I'm going to until I really have to, and it's just way too obvious. There's no other point of no return type of thing.
So I feel bad for Dolph fans because you can't pump any more hopium now, right? You're not doing the hopium thing anymore, right?
I'm not doing it. No. I might have 0-3 with a tight loss to Buffalo, and then you gain some momentum off the Jets. If they would have won this game, then maybe you'd hear some of the hopium, but no, not after blowing this. You can't start 1-4 against Colts, Patriots, Jets, and Panthers being in that part of the schedule, and you're 1-4. Yes, the Colts look better than we thought they were, but you can't. But still, no, you cannot be 1-4 against those 5 teams.
Yeah, that's where I feel bad for Dolphins, because there is no light at the end of the tunnel now. Now they see it. I kind of saw it already in the offseason, but that's just me. But now everybody kind of sees what I saw, that this roster was too thin to really get it done. I just don't know how the ownership group sells the fans. That's the part that I have a hard time understanding. And you guys, there's no way you can even try to frame this, that there's the light at the end of the tunnel. You know what I'm saying? It's tough.
No, this season the Dolphins are 2 for 2 on home games where a banner is flying over the stadium calling for the firing of Mike McDaniel, Chris Greer. The second one they added Tua into it, so they were like not just the GM and coach. Now we are also pointing out the quarterback, who did throw 3 touchdowns in this game, but the third down not keeping the team in it late. The offense going stagnant late. Obviously, he's partially at fault for that as well.
He was pressured like crazy, bro. They didn't give him any time back there. That line just was
and the Panthers should not be pressuring anyone. They came into this game dead last in the NFL in pressure percentage at 7%. They only pressured quarterbacks 7% of dropbacks, and they had their way against this Dolphins offensive line. So the trenches on both sides of the ball. We look at the Miami Hurricanes; they win in the trenches, but this team they're losing in the trenches. I mean, across the board on both sides of the ball.
Dude, the Hurricanes can overcome mistakes.
Yes,
and
like we saw. Yeah,
right, like we saw, and that's how we used to see it in the 80s and the 90s. They used to commit all kinds of penalties, bro, but they were so dominant at the line that you weren't going to win the battle. So yeah, you made a couple mistakes, but if you're so dominant at the line, and since Miami is not dominant on either side of the line, whatever mistake you make, it's magnified, dude. Forget about it.
Yeah. The 0-1 team, I remember watching the Canes where they were just so penalized. Larry Coker had them just when they were wasn't that 1990 Cotton Bowl? All the penalties that they had in that one against Texas.
They could have 100 yards of penalties and still beat you by 25, 30 points.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, because they were so much more physical at the line of scrimmages. And that's where I give Mario a shit ton of credit. You know what I'm saying? He did a terrible decision yesterday. Okay. And by the way, in this game, let's switch it over since we're not talking Kings, we're talking Dolphins.
Yeah.
Would you have punted or would you have gone for it? Because your defense was
Yeah, I don't fault that decision so much because you were backed up to what was the fourth down at that point? Because it had just come off a sack.
Where were you going at that point? It's like it was over.
Because you had the 3 timeouts. So we've seen it so many times where a team gets the 3 and out because the Panthers, you know what they're going to do. They're going to run it first and second down. Now, the Dolphins hadn't stopped the run all game, but you can in that situation, given that that they are not going to put the ball in the air. But then third down, you do have to get the third down stop, and you did get to, it was it 3rd and 5, and you commit the penalty there, Jack Jones, allowing the drive to extend, which they were in line to get the stop. It was 4th and 17. I think 4th and 17 backed up, like. Are you really converting that? You have your 3 timeouts, so I was okay with that call. Obviously, you were letting time run off because it was a sack and you had to keep your timeouts. But I didn't fault that one. I mean, it was very slim chances of winning it in either way. But I was okay with trying to get the stop and then seeing if you get a fresh set of downs.
I would have had a better chance to try to win it with my offense than with my defense because I almost feel like the defense wasn't going to win it for me at all either way. You know what I'm saying? It's just one of those where I kind of felt hopeless, at that point,
Yeah, but it's also your offense. When you had a 1st and 10, you turn that into 2nd and 10, 3rd and 10, and now 4th and 17. And now you got to convert the 4th and 17 from back at your own 15. It was just – you were in a really bad spot either way. With 3 timeouts, I don't mind. I don't mind that you punted, try to see if they can get a quick stop, get it back. And then they would have – if that pass interference doesn't happen, then what? Then they have – because that occurred with let me see. What was it?
There wasn't much time left.
55 seconds. 50 after the play. So, yeah, you would have gotten the ball back with like 45 seconds, needing a field goal. So you'd have to go the whole length of the field. You need a field goal. That's enough time to do that. So I saw the vision of it. But then 3rd down, you have the pass interference. So that was it.
I'm with you there. All right, what are you trying to tell the Dolphin land in the South Florida Sun Center? What's the message?
No. I'm just finalizing the game coverage here. So the run defense, obviously, cracking down on that. Bradley Chubb had kind of an impassioned plea to the defense to get this thing right. So I'm writing that up as we speak. And also at the Sun Sentinel, Hyde is going to hit more on that, as well as Chris Perkins talking about something you were a little surprised that I said, like that. Hey, Mike, Perkins is going to say Mike McDaniel, he's basically just floating in the wind at this point as long as they keep him, because he sees, I'm sure he told you when he was on, but that, just seeing no way that Mike really survives this season.
I never thought he was going to survive this season anyway.
You were on it. You were on it.
I mean, come on, dude. He's a bad coach. He constantly shows it, dude. I mean, he's the only coach I've seen that stops to use things that work. When the running game's working and you're pounding Green Bay and you're pounding Buffalo or you're pounding the Ravens, let's stop.
Running game wasn't working today, I will say.
Okay, but Waller was.
Oh, yeah. Right.
So he has a tendency of not using what works. You know what I'm saying? And for the love of God, he brings Ollie Gordon in on so obvious running downs. He doesn't understand, like, give Achane a series or maybe give him 2 series and then give Ollie the 3rd series. Not in a down, not a down here, not a down. No. Put him in for the entire series and sit Achane down and let him rest a little bit. And then you bring Achane back for a series, and then you bring Ollie back for a series. Then you bring Achane for the next 2 series. And then, you do that. You got to get the kid. Big backs need
rhythm.
Yeah. They need rhythm, and you're not giving the guy any rhythm whatsoever. He's not getting to see the defense. He's not getting to see the blocking scheme, so he can time things and work everything out. So when you give it to him just piecemeal, it doesn't work, man. And it doesn't. He's just a bad coach. And by the way, here's another thing: you go into the game with 2 active running backs.
It's risky. It's risky if one of them goes down. But see,
is it risky or is it just flat out stupid?
It's not like that's something that bit them. Now, I don't, unless if Jalen Wright, I don't know where he is physically right now. If he would have come in and provided a spark, we don't know that because we never saw it. But if that were the case, then I could see it from that perspective. But the last 2 games before this, he was an active player and did not play. He did not get a single snap. So
I'm laughing because as you're saying that, well, if he provided a spark, and we'd have seen it. Let me ask you something. You seen any sparks from Ollie Gordon?
Not in this game. I have this season.
No.
Not in this game.
You have, right? You have,
yeah.
Right? So
yes.
then let's spark it up, bro.
With Ollie Gordon.
Let's whiz Khalifa.
I thought we were talking about Jalen Wright, though. So,
well, you can't get to Jalen Wright until you get to Ollie Gordon. That's my point. Make a dedication to the run. Bring Jalen Wright active and pound the crap out of people with backs left and right. That's what the guy on Saturdays does. That he doesn't only hit you with Fletcher. He hits you with Brown, and then Lyle now got back from the injury, and he's going to hit you with Lyle also on top of that. That's what I want. I am so nervous that you're going to run Achane into the damn ground.
Well, I mean, even then, he only had 10 carries today. So,
that's because the game turned on them. That's why.
Yeah, but you know what? Even if you're ineffective, there's no reason for 10 carries for Achane, 3 for Ollie Gordon to only, and you should be effective against that Carolina Panthers run defense. It's not like that shouldn't be a team that just like leads you into abandoning it. They had a 17-0 lead and they still weren't able to run the ball. That's embarrassing to both sides of the line of scrimmage to get beat up front like that. That was very disheartening.
Follow him on Twitter at David Feronis _. Make sure you catch his work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. David, be safe in your travels, my brother. We will catch up later on in the week.
Yes, sir. Sounds good.
You got it, baby. Be good. There you go, David Feronis. Jeff Welt and Daniel Rayom, they are the bookend tackles that I wish the Dolphins had, because Tua would go untouched every single week. And you will too, from those stupid insurance companies that all they're trying to do. They love to collect your premium every month, right? But then when they got to pay, oh man, they try to stop you left and right. And you and I don't know all the laws, all the loopholes. The lawyers do. And they know that. And so when a lawyer calls them about their client, that gets their attention right away. When you and I call, they're laughing on the other side. I got a client, I'm going to sucker their ass, because we don't know anything. And they fool us. Jeff Welt and Daniel Rayom, well, nah, they turn the tables. And in your favor. Bankruptcy, homeowner property damage, condo damage, criminal defense, business owner claims, commercial litigation, personal injury. The consultation is free. Reach out to Jeff Welt and Daniel Rayom, and they will take care of you. 954-966-4646.
This has been another session of the Welton Rayom Miami Dolphins Report with David Feronis. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help.
Remember, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. And you can make a Bitcoin, Ethereum, or Chainlink donation as always. And there are always important decisions in every single game, even in the game of life. But in this game, we need to find out what was the Sloman's key decision of the game.
Our key decision of the game is brought to you by Sloman's Home Shield. When you want to protect your home, family, or business, call Sloman's at 1-800-ALARM-ME.
All right. Well, I can only go to one place. You know what was the key decision of the game? And the key decision of the game was made by Mike McDaniel. Because in the first half, Darren Waller had a touchdown. And he had 5 receptions for 78 yards, including a 34-yarder. 5 targets, all 5 he caught. Yet somehow he was not targeted in the second half. And Miami ends up losing 27-24. A 17-0 lead all of a sudden became a whole ton of unanswered points by the Carolina Panthers. And I don't know why the baffling decision was made by Mike McDaniel, but after watching him dominate in the first half, how you did not go back to the well at one point or another and over again a couple of more times, considering how badly you needed to make some plays, considering how, we love to throw fades to Oompa Loompas in the end zone, which, okay, it worked out this time. But you have a big-ass target in Darren Waller. It makes it a lot easier for your quarterback to find these kind of guys. And somehow or another, the key decision of the game was made in the second half by Mike McDaniel, which was to not target Darren Waller. And please don't tell me that they adjusted. That tells me you're a shit coach that didn't adjust to that. Okay? Because they all adjust to great players, but you have great players. Now you find a way to adjust. That's what your job is. Get your great player back in a position. Put him in motion. I don't care what you got to do. But Darren Waller is a guy that's very hard to match up at 6'5", 6'6", whatever the hell he is. There aren't a lot of DBs or a lot of linebackers or a lot of safeties that are 6'6" and have his kind of range. So when you tell me that they adjusted and did some things, I tell you, you're a shit coach. And your key decision of the game to not go back to Darren Waller is the reason why you're 1-4 and is the reason why Mike McDaniel is a shit coach. Now, folks, listen, you can take your home to the next level. Don't hire Mike McDaniel. Call Sloman's and get the Shield link. It provides professional-grade security monitoring, cutting-edge smart home automation. You can actually lock your doors. So if your kid leaves the house, you see it on the cameras, they leave the house, and you notice that they didn't lock the door, and there's a warning that the door is unlocked. And you're like, well, wait a minute. Whoa. And you can lock it right from wherever you're at home. I mean, not at home, at work or at the shopping center or whatever. You notice on your phone, and then you can contact your kid and then rip them. You know what I'm saying? But ShieldLink will help you with that. It also allows you to control the thermostat. So if you're driving home and you want to turn on the AC, you're a half hour away and you want the house to cool down, you can turn on the thermostat. You can switch the lights on and off. Maybe the front door, if you're coming in a little later, you want the front door lit. You want some of the lights inside the house so people think, that there's some movement in there. Camera feeds, inside, outside. Most people don't put inside. I do because I have 4 dogs. People that have dogs usually put a camera inside or 2. I have a couple cameras. And you can even create automated routines from a single dashboard. You're going to love it. And what the Sloman's ShieldLink does is it gives you all-in-one control. It gives you advanced protection. It gives you personalized automation. And then most of all, you are going to get peace of mind wherever you're at. And that's a beautiful thing. Please reach out to them. 1-800-ALARM-ME. 1-800-ALARM-ME. Mike McDaniel's boneheaded decision not to go back to Darren Waller. That's our Sloman's key decision of the game.
Our key decision of the game is brought to you by Sloman's Home Shield. When you want to protect your home, family, or business, call Sloman's at 1-800-ALARM-ME.
All right. What else do we have here? Remember, folks, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. Let's see what we got here, Mr. Spock. This team is not one QB away from being 3-1. Tua might be the guy. The team has 99 problems. Yeah, it's not a quarterback thing. It's a whole team thing that is a problem. Your quarterback's one of the better quarterbacks in the league, but you obviously don't know how to compliment him, like we didn't know how to compliment Marino. It's the same shit, except Marino is another level freak than, and Tua is not that level. So you were able to win a little bit more because the freak allowed you to do that. But outside of that, yeah, it's the same thing. Nothing has changed. For 45 years, they have failed to build around whatever the only 2 quarterbacks they've had in 45 years. So there we go. Let's see. Tom Stockel says Greer will waste whatever draft picks he gets. The Stoyanovich kicks. Waller has to be baffled as F. That guy is the best player on the Miami Dolphins as of right now. Well, Achan's the best player, but yeah, I get what you're saying. What else? True Fin fan Ray Agnew Jr. should be a heavy consideration as the next GM is if Greer is fired. Tyon says Big O 14 rushing attempts total while being up 17 is just stupid. That's McDaniel. What can I tell you, brother? But it's Tua's fault. It's Tua's fault that they don't call plays for Waller. It's Tua's fault that they don't build a running game. It's all Tua's fault. Don't worry about it. Blame Tua for not having time to throw at the end of the game there in the fourth quarter where they were rushing his ass all over it's all Tua's fault. Tua has to be able to block, run, catch, coach, do everything. It's all up to him, So we did not lose because of Waller not being thrown out. Our defensive line can't stop the run. There was a 3-point difference and you didn't throw to Waller in the second half. I don't know. Might have made a difference. You might have gotten another touchdown. That's a 4-point win. I don't know. You win by 17. You're winning 17-0 throwing to Waller. You stop throwing to Waller and you lose 27-24. I don't know. Okay. And throwing to Waller opens it up to Waddle and everybody else. But okay. All right. Eric Garneau says, I'm going to buy some Bitcoin, Big O. At least that won't shit the bed like these Dolphins. Hell no. It'll just grow, baby. Good for you. Big O, we are truly horses' asses of a franchise. And we are horses' asses of fans, too. Because we keep following. We love this team. We buy the shirts, the hats, the tickets, the suites. We travel. Like, I'm going to enjoy going to Madrid and all that, but I'm going mainly because of the Dolphins. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, that's why I told you it was going to be a bad season, and that was going to be the peak of our season. I told you that all off season. I trip out with the people. Oh my God. Oh, and the team's so bad. And I'm like, yeah, I know they were supposed to be bad. I know you're mad and all that, but I'm not really that surprised, dude. I get pissed at like the things like the Darren Waller stuff. That's what I get pissed at. Justin Jai Mathy says, I'm so depressed. Been a fan of you a long time, and you keep it real. I'm 47. I used to worry that we wouldn't win a Super Bowl before my stepdad died. Now I wonder if we will win one before I do. Yeah, dude, I just turned 59 on October 1st, just a couple days ago, 4 days ago. 59, bro. I'm a year from 60. And I don't expect us to win anything in the near future. And it's depressing. It's depressing, dude. It's depressing, bro. I've done this for 35 years, and I've covered championships with practically every other team, dude. The Marlins, the Heat, the Panthers. I've covered everything. And some of them I've been in the locker rooms for them and all that kind of stuff. And this is the one team that just breaks all of our hearts. It's crazy. We were at least gifted Dave Dombrowski, where he was able to build 2 titles for us. But wow, man, it's crazy how bad we are of a franchise. How bad this situation is. Constantly. Like we never get out of it. It's brutal. It's just not fair. It really is. Josh says it's Tua's fault overthrowing a wide open Waddle at the end of the game. That's it. Definitely. I'm with you there. Blame Tua for my flatulence. Exactly. We do go from where do we go from here? Big O. I just watch a stupid coach fire Mike McDaniel now. Yep. RTH Falconer says Tua stinks, dude. He's not the only reason he lost, but he ain't it. Let's see. Ted, Big O called it. I don't know if you're talking about the shitty season. If that's what you're talking about, yes, we did. We called it. We told you that this would be a shitty season. So, I was ostracized for it, of course, like I always am. You know what I mean? That's all right. I'm fine with it. I'd rather be the dick that at least, oh, man, that guy's a jerk, man. Oh, he'll tell me the negative stuff. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry. If I'm telling you negative stuff and I'm wrong about it constantly, okay. But if I tell you that they're going to be bad or you should trade this guy or whatever, and it happens to be right, don't hold it against me. I'm not, I'm just being objective. That's all I'm doing. I'd rather be brutally honest with you guys than just bullshit. Christian DiMartino, I'll come to your 60th, though. Maybe we'll do a little get-together for the 60th. Why not? That might be a good idea. Who do we get as a coach? Jordan, when we get to that point, then we'll talk about it. But I'm not wasting my time now. There's no reason. These people might be stupid enough to bring him back next year. Okay? Tom says, I just turned 70 and was too young to really appreciate the greasy years, right? Yeah. Yeah, because it kind of went downhill for him as he got a little older. And I used to call him Peabody with those glasses. Yeah, but and Greasy was half as talented as Marino, but he had twice the team that Marino ever had. Marino never had half the team that Greasy had. That's the difference. That's the huge difference between the two. Greasy won a couple of Super Bowls because his team was supremely better than Marino's team. So Eric says, regardless of where you are on Greer or Tua is 40+ million franchise QB. If Waddle's 30+ million wide receiver, if Hill's worth the contract he was given, Does Greer get to pick another QB and a third coach? See, the problem that there is that those of you, on the whole Tua thing, if you didn't build a line and a running game, then of course Tua is going to fail. But if you build a line and a running game, then Tua would never even be the problem. But that's kind of the way it goes. It is what it is, whatever. It's just an old and I can't wait for Tua to leave, dude. I'm just so tired of it. I'm tired of all of you complaining about Tua, and I'm tired of him not being, not ever winning anybody over. Plus, I'm tired that he'll never win here because there's just too many stupid people here that they don't know how to build an offense. They don't know how to build. They don't know what they do in Coral Gables. They don't know how to do that here. So the best thing for Tua is to leave and go to another team. So that way, maybe he has a chance to succeed somewhere else. But he'll never succeed here. No quarterback succeeds here. See, that's the problem with you Tua haters. You make it sound like you've had better quarterbacks for the last 25 years since Marino, and you haven't had jack shit. Tua's 1,000 times better than Chad Pennington or any of the shit that's been here, Ryan Tannehill, or any of the garbage that's been here forever for the last 25 years. Way better. None of those quarterbacks were ever in the MVP race. None of those quarterbacks ever led the league in yards, completion percentage, touchdowns. He's done all those kind of things with no coaching, no running game, and no offensive line. Okay? So it's amazing. The snobbish attitude that the Tua haters, you act like quarterbacks rain on you and you get nothing. You make it sound like every other quarterback has incredible success here in the history of the Dolphins when none of them succeed. None. Nada. Not one of them has ever succeeded. All of them are mediocre to garbage. None of them win. No quarterback ever succeeds here. But no, hey, let's get rid of Tua because the next guy, of course, is going to succeed because every quarterback succeeds here. Don't you know? Tua is the only guy that doesn't win here. Don't you know? This is the only Dolphins team that doesn't win playoff games because, of course, for the last 30 years, they've been winning playoff games like it's going out of style. God, haven't you seen it? I know I have. Frankie Fresco, thank you for the love in the super chat. Our owner and GM are so bad. They see how bad this coach is and they do nothing. Our defensive line is so bad. What are they doing out there? I don't know. This is what I have, okay? If you're the GM and that's your coach, you would have already fired him and put Weaver there to at least try something new for the last 14 games. This is after they were 0-3 when I said to fire him, okay? I'm going by when I said it. Now you have waited more games and you still haven't fired him. So I wonder, is it the GM's coach or is it the owner's coach? And that's what I'd love. We're going to find out at the end of the year. I can't wait. Because if Greer stays and McDaniel's gone, then that tells me that it wasn't his hire. And he just went along with it and worked with him. And then because he's the owner's guy, he's going to work with him and cater him and help him and all that and, whatever it is. But if they do get rid of Greer, then we know he hired McDaniel. Because it's the weirdest thing. Why, if you're Greer and your job's on the line, supposedly your job's on the line, why wouldn't you have fired Greer McDaniel already? He's not going to save your job. Weirdest thing. But whatever, man. It is what it is. Listen, team's not going anywhere this year. Team's not going anywhere next year. Okay? So I can't wait till we get to 2027. Oh, I'm sorry, you can't handle the fact that they're not going anywhere next year? Just wondering, I'm just wondering, those of you that want to get rid of Tua and you want to move on, and you can't get rid of Tua next year. You're stuck with him. So I'm just wondering, when you get rid of Mike McDaniel, do you actually think you're going anywhere next year? Or would you like to hear the truth again, like I told you this year? Because I don't sell you hopium. When I actually believe it, it's not hopium. It's not bullshit. It's actually real. Okay? So you do know they're going nowhere next year, right? Like the season is done in 2026. You do know that, right? Or are you going to lie to yourself and try to build yourself up like some of you did this offseason? And some of the media talking crazy shit about the playoffs for this team. And now they're like this. Well, if this, no, you were wrong from the get-go. Anybody that thought this was a playoff team, you read it wrong. You were wrong. You were dead wrong. You didn't read the coach right. You didn't read the talent right. You were wrong. So if you're a fan here and you're sitting here and you're disappointed because you thought they were better, that's your fault. And if you're a media member that wrote or talked about this team actually being good, you were wrong. And you need to admit to your listeners, writers, whatever it is that you do, you need to admit to them that you read it wrong, that Mike McDaniel is way worse than you ever thought, and that the talent was way worse than you ever thought. Okay? So anybody in the local media, okay, that was talking up the Dolphins, all right, make sure that you come off the ledge and you admit that you were wrong. Don't blame the Dolphins, okay, because the Dolphins did what they did the entire offseason, and we documented it as it went on that they're building a really shitty team for this year. We documented it. We told you how they kept doing moves for the future, not the present. The only move that's really worked out for them, kind of, is Darren Waller. And I say kind of because he missed the first couple of games after missing months. So he's played 2 good games. We don't know how long he'll last or whatever. But all the other stuff is the way it's gone. So let's, I love it, right? Yeah, everything will be better. Get rid of Tua because, of course, dude, all the other quarterbacks, we're guaranteed to get another quarterback that will lead the league in completion percentage or yards or touchdown, because all of our quarterbacks do that all the time with shitty coaches and shitty offensive lines and no running games. So I can't wait, bro. I can't wait till we get rid of Tua. I can't wait till we make all these changes because, of course, everything is going to be just fine. Everything is going to work out, man. Everything's just fantastic. I mean, it's just it's all unicorns and rainbows, Yeah, don't worry about it. Get rid of Tua. The next quarterback will be awesome. Just awesome. Pat White, awesome. Toxic Fart, thank you for the love on the super chat. Earl Morrill started 11 games in place of Greasy during the undefeated season. Now that was a complete team. Mic drop. There you go, Toxic Fart. Marino didn't have a complete team because Shula couldn't build one. And Tua doesn't even have half a team. He doesn't have a great offense or a great defense, or he doesn't even have a coach. So, whatever. But I'm with you guys. I've already been with you guys the last couple of weeks. I can't wait for the 26 season to end already. Not the 25 season. That's been over. I can't wait for the 26 season to end so then Tua can get the hell out of here. Okay? I cannot wait. Cannot wait, bro. I'm looking forward to it, actually. Really looking forward to it. Because that way you guys won't complain anymore about quarterbacks, because what's there to complain? Once Tua's gone, all our problems, they're always solved at quarterback. Always. So we're good. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. Eric Garneau says the 70-point against the Broncos in 23 got Ross so excited he had to sign everyone. McD was a genius coach. Defenses couldn't stop him. It was fun while it lasted. Josh Hart says, if there was a Tua coin, I wouldn't invest in it. So you're saying it's a shit coin, a meme coin. I got you. Dolphin Dave says Greer is not the problem, it's the coaching staff. Question is who hired the coaching staff? That's the question. Now Dolphin Dave he says bring back Scott Mitchell. That will definitely do it. I mean, if Waller can come back at 33, why not Mitchell at 63? I'm with you on that. I think that makes a lot of sense. Dolphin defense should be called the Swiss cheese squad. Tua got a bad roll of the dice getting drafted by this team. That happens to quarterbacks, right? You know, you end up on a bad team. You're David Carr, and you end up on a terrible team, and they beat you up like crazy, and you're done. You're Archie Manning. You end up on a bad Saints team. It ruins your career. You're Steve Bartkowski. You end up on a mediocre Atlanta Falcons team. Man, I've seen this story before, you know, and guys that are good quarterbacks, could be great quarterbacks, could have had awesome careers, but they ended up in terrible situations. And unfortunately, they couldn't get out of it, and they didn't end up having success. And I've seen that happen over and over and over again in the history of my life. So this is nothing new, and that's fine, bro. Whatever. You know, it is. I can't wait for Tua to get the hell out of here. It's what's best for him and for you guys. You know what I'm saying? Since this fan base is so anti-Tua, you know, your fan base hates you. Your head coach is incompetent. They can't build a team around you. So where's the win-win here for him? There isn't. You'll never succeed here because nobody ever succeeds here. Well, at least in reality, not in your minds out there for the Tua haters. Everyone succeeds out there for the Tua haters, of course. You know, we all know that, you know. Steve Young is what happens when you're on a bad team and go to a great team. That's right, from Tampa Bay to San Francisco. Meanwhile, he was awesome at BYU, at the LA Express, and he goes to Tampa and sucks. And then he goes to San Francisco and wins the Super Bowl. Yeah, I wonder why. I really wonder why, you know. So Jack says, I know you said it's not to discuss the next head coach for the Dolphins, but don't you think fans deserve some light by talking about potential options? No, dude, that's Jack. Dude, you're better off playing with yourself. It's a hell of a lot more productive. What coach is available? Who? We don't even know. We don't know what pro coach is available. We don't know what college coach just finished a hot season. We don't know what hot coordinator now is a failure by the end of the year. We have no idea. So to talk about stupid hypotheticals at this point when there is no substance, they're not interviewing anybody. There's nobody available. And some of the guys that might be available are working right now. So you can't even talk to them. And you won't even know who you're going to talk to until they become available. And then you'll find out what teams they're willing to talk to. So there's so many hurdles from now till then. And I get it, Jack Vasquez. Talk radio and fan podcasts and all that, and writers, 60% of their shit is useless hypotheticals that they talk about that never happen. So this is why I'm trying to educate you, help you, save you time, go get laid, go get another job, go watch another team. Not football, I'm saying like a baseball team or a basketball team or something. Get a hobby, something, dude. Okay? To worry about hypotheticals at this point when they haven't fired a coach, when you don't know who's available or anything like that, it's the dumbest shit in the world to be talking about. Are we clear now, Mr. Vasquez? Okay? So I talk about shit that is substance, that's actually going on or going to happen. But I'm not going to talk about that until we actually make some change. Until Michael Jackson says, make that change, we're not doing anything. So go get laid. A hell of a lot better than talking about hypothetical head coaches. Peter J. Finfan, thank you for the love in the super chat. How can Greer not be responsible for the talent on this team? Between horrible drafts, bad extensions, and bad coaching hires, he has to go. Well, we're going to find out. We're going to find out, my brother. We'll find out. Let's see. Mike Suarez says, Herbert may not be great, but he would have been a much better pick than Tua, and Flo would have been still the coach. Flo couldn't build an offense. What the hell are you talking about? He had was it 3 offensive line coaches, 3 different coordinators, 2 different quarterbacks coaches. The quarterbacks coach, the last one he had, Kyle Orton, had never coached at college or the NFL, even though he was a quarterback, but he had coached only 7-on-7s. He couldn't even build a staff, dude. Some of you create these memories and you're absolutely full of shit. And you make it sound like it was better than what it really was. Why would you want a coach that tries to sabotage your players? That's not a good person, bro. The guy literally tried to sabotage Tua's career. And he couldn't build an offense. The guy had 3 different people in someone's ear trying to decide a play, and he thought that was a good idea. The selective memory that some of you put, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of people that get taken hostage, and then they get that what is that syndrome that it's called? And they kind of start to like their hostage taker and all that, and maybe even defend them or something. It's like some weird thing that you people develop. And all of a sudden you start thinking what was the past was actually better than what it was, and it wasn't. It wasn't. Flo was a bad dude, really bad person, and a terrible head coach because he could not keep things to. And that final year, you know how people, well, no, he won 6 in a row. Yeah, he won the games against the shitty teams. You don't remember that year he lost all the important games, and then he built up, got back on track against all the terrible teams. You know what the Dolphins have been doing for 40 years? They beat shitty teams and lose to good teams. Nothing new. It's like that Stockholm syndrome is what it's called. You people, some of you actually get the Stockholm syndrome. And you start imagining, when you were hostage from this coach or that quarterback or this GM, and you start making it sound like it was better. Notice, folks, no head coach that's been fired by the Dolphins has ever done anything in the NFL. You ever notice that? Every head coach that's been hired by the Miami Dolphins and given a contract and then fired, notice, not one. Not one. Since Shula. From Jimmy on till now, every coach that's been hired and given a contract, okay? Don't use the interim stuff with Dan Campbell or some, because people get off the conversation. He wasn't hired to be a head coach. He was just filling in as an interim, and he wasn't ready at that time. So don't start with that stupid comment either on top of all of that. But notice, every single head coach. You've never hired a coach that all of a sudden you fired and he became a great head coach somewhere else. It's never happened. It's literally never happened. It's crazy. But hey, don't worry. All our quarterbacks have success, so get rid of Tua. So, there you go. Anyway, Pasta Vasul says, Big O, I heard something recently that resonates with me. The Flores lawsuit is still ongoing, and Greer will be deposed, so I'm wondering if there's something behind the scenes. Nah. Dude, the part of the Dolphins, there's no racism or anything that has to do with the Dolphins. The Dolphins are not even close to being racist, so it doesn't really matter. His stupid lawsuit is against others, not against the NFL. Not against the Dolphins. The Dolphins, he has no case against the Dolphins. Zero. Nada. Nay. So everybody in the Dolphins is in the clear because listen, I may not defend Ross as an owner and say he's a good owner. I know he's a good owner in spending money, but he's not a good owner overall. Okay, but I'm also going to say that organization doesn't have a hair of racism or bias or anything. They hire all kinds of people, all kinds of sexes, colors, nationalities. They don't care. From top to bottom, that is a very diverse organization. Okay, and it was black general manager and 2 black assistant general managers that hired the black head coach, who then drafted a black quarterback. Oh, and by the way, Mike McDaniel, for something, he's also, I think, half black. May not look it, but I think that's how it is. I think he's even got African American in his genes. So, diversity is all over that organization, dude. Okay, the media relations head person is a female. So he has no case. So Pasta Vazul, anybody making all that, that's just stuff that people make up and they don't really look at the facts. You know what I'm saying? So the Dolphins organization is absolutely in the clear for all of this. They have nothing to do with it. So Chan Gailey said, F Flores and left. Exactly. Let's see. Big O, I wonder if Stockholm Syndrome comes with those little Swedish meatballs. Love those Swedish meatballs. Those things are delicious. Let's see what else. Gase did something. He destroyed the Jets. Hey, let me tell you something. Jack. Adam Gase is a trendsetter. I've said this for many, many years now. Okay, Jack? You better appreciate Adam Gase. He created social distancing before a pandemic, bro. He was teaching us social distancing before it even happened. That man was all by himself on benches, all by himself on sidelines. Nobody wanted to be with him. He was showing us what was coming. So, may not like him as a coach, may not respect him, but you better respect him as a humanitarian because he was showing you how to save your life. So, Adam Gase with the biggest assist in the world, showing us social distancing. Strong. Nobody better than Adam Gase at social distancing. It's like the bitch didn't shower for weeks or something, right? Like nobody stood next to him. He's like one of those dudes that has that thing that they don't shower, and you're like, yo, dude, wow. Man, and you want to walk, you got to walk away. You know, you're coughing and like, oh, well, you know, it seemed like that. I don't know. Do we know if Adam Gase showered? Because that social distancing stuff, that was strong on his part. He was great at looking at a clipboard at a whole arena and everyone else. Yes, he was awesome. He was awesome. Yep, you got to follow the science, G-Rut. That's it. It's all about. Howie says, tough to be a QB whisperer when your breath smells like a sewer. Let's see what else do we have. The Laser Eye Center of Miami. There you go. Maybe Mike McDaniel should go there. Maybe he would see things better on how to coach or something. I don't know. You know, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Ocala Joe. Oh, us old timers have seen this play many times before. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We have. And thank you for the Cash App, my friend. I appreciate you. Dave Refford, thank you again. Your generosity is amazing, sir. Thank you, thank you, thank you. He says, for Cam Ward, a Dolphin come 2020. No, leave him alone, bro. Leave him alone. Why you wishing? See, we were just talking about this earlier, okay? If you're a parent and you're making your kid a Dolphins fan, you need to go to jail or something. They need to sick child services on your ass. So, we love our Canes. And we have this thing as Dolphin fans. Oh, draft a Cane. No, actually, no. Don't draft Canes. Do me a favor. Don't ruin their lives. Don't ruin their lives. I'm sorry. It's not going to help. Let them go somewhere else. Cam Ward, he's suffering enough right now with Tennessee. I got a guy that sent me a DM the other day. He goes, oh, this Cam Ward, dude, he's so bad. I'm like, relax, dude. I even told you that I think he would have trouble in transition because he's a little crazy, but eventually he'll figure it out. But on this team, it's going to take him a little longer because they have no team. You've got to support a quarterback. He doesn't have support. You don't do it by yourself. You know what I mean? But you got people already thinking that Cam's a bust, and it's like, bro, quarterbacks need help. JC SoFlo says, as Mad Dog once said, a stench of cow manure hovers over the performance by the Dolphins. I agree. George Gutierrez, thank you, sir, for the love on Cash App. Very nice of you. We have to rip the Band-Aid off. The question is, my friend, when will they rip the Band-Aid off? That's really the question that you like. How have they not ripped off the Band-Aid? Isn't that really the question for Stephen Ross? Like, dude, are you watching this? Like, I would love to be in the box and sit there and Mr. Ross, why are you tolerating this? Do you actually think this guy, Mike McDaniel, is going to turn things around? Because I would like to know who actually thinks that, because that's kind of like stupid. Catastrophically stupid. If you think that Mike McDaniel is going to turn things around. I just hope that our writers are put on, a pair of balls and start ripping into this organization and start firing some people and start demanding the change. Because obviously me doing it is not going to get anywhere. You know what I'm saying? So I don't have that kind of juice. Never have, never will. So, and I'm good. I'm a very happy person, going right under the radar and hanging with my people. All good. I got no problem with that. Let's see what else. When was the last time the Dolphins fully cleaned the house? If you don't count 2019, I guess it was for Parcells, right? That's when they cleaned house completely. Parcells came in and started fresh. He built the entire organization fresh. Right there. So that's probably the last time that was completely fresh. From the top, all the main people, the head coach, the GMs, that was all. Greer was there already, but he was still a scout or a general. I think he was a regional scout at that point. But again, he wasn't in charge of shit. So yeah, they've tried everything and it hasn't worked. They've cleaned house. They've brought the championship college coach, the championship Super Bowl coach. They've brought the championship coach to run the team. They've brought the hot offensive coordinator, the hot defensive coordinator. They have failed in every way possible. You know what I mean? Because I always love let's go get an experience. Well, they've done that. They've even got Hall of Fame experience. They got college Hall of Fame experience. Didn't help. So, all right, folks, we're out of here. Got to save the voice. I'm back tomorrow morning. We thank, of course, the great Sean Stanley, David Feronis, Chris Perkins. If you missed any of those interviews, you can catch them there. Sean, of course, will slice and dice the show, put up any rants or anything else. Appreciate all of you out there. Don't forget to smash the hell out of the like button. We appreciate you all out there. We will see you tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Same time, same place, same bat channel.
You've been listening to our Dolphins post-game show with Big O. The broadcast is brought to you by Welton Rayome, Acura of Pembroke Pines, Hialeah Park Casino, RM Contractors, Toyota of Hollywood, Haineswear, Sloman's Home Security, BigCheeseMiami.com, EJD Construction. The broadcast is mastered by executive producer Sean Stanley. Thank you for supporting the platform and our fantastic sponsors. Go Fins!